Okay, sorry about that. Um, test. Okay, can you guys hear me now? It's saying that it's working. Oh, good. Okay. So that whole thing I did, and I guess I was muted. Thank you for letting me know. Um, you can access last year's videos and this year's videos. So this year's video is rough and uncut and messy, but I send it out. You can also access last year's videos. And sometimes I skip problems this year, and maybe I covered them last year. So some of these problems I'm going to say you're going to do on your own. And then if you want, you could look at last year's video and maybe I covered it. So hoping these people are coming in. Okay, so exam is this week. We do have an online version. Now, in order to fully assess how well you understand these concepts, it's longer. Okay, I recommend come in. If you come in and take the test in person, There are 25 questions and plus 1 extra credit. You can either do it or not do it. There is no extra credit for the online because you could just photo math that, and we all know that. So anyway, come in. It is full credit this week or next week, but don't fall behind. Next week, we're moving on with week 6. So don't fall behind. If you are a late add, then we will come up with a way to catch you up and get you caught up. You don't necessarily have the same deadlines that everybody else has. Okay, keep in mind, how are you going to know you're ready for the test? Now, math is about understanding, not just doing, understanding. You understand everything on the practice exam, which is still called group exam, sorry, and everything on the review session packets. Okay, that's how you know. And keep this in mind, if you photo mathed any of those problems, you are not ready for the exam. You need to make sure you do them on your own. Okay, because math is about understanding concepts, not just submitting things for points. So if you have any questions, stick around at the end, we can talk about them. Okay. Now, 1, 2, and 3, and 4. We have done multiple weeks. If this is your first week joining me in a review session, stick around. These are for you to do on your own. This is not done, right? Write a sequence. All I did was give you a hint for the multiplier. Number 2, write a sequence. I gave you a hint for the multiplier. And then 3 and 4, box method to foil and diamond box. If you need to see these, if I rush through this, we can come back at the end. Okay, number 5. So these are on your own. You're going to do these on your own or stick around and request them at the end. Let's look at number 6. I've given you a hint. The X values are going up by 1. The Y values are going up by 8. Notice that we have a common difference. Okay, it's going up by the same amount. Now, if this number was increasing each time, there's a possibility it would be a quadratic with x squared. But they are all the same. We have a common difference. What is my common difference? 8. Okay, if we have a common difference, then this is a linear equation. So what will the form of the linear equation be? All right, ding, ding, ding. Zoomers, what's the form of the linear equation that we're going to use? I'll give you a hint. Y equals, what is it, Zoomers? There we go. Thank you. Mx plus b. Okay, these are actually a little bit easier than the ones where I give you 2 points. Okay, so M, we can see from the table, M is M. Okay, how much is it moving, Zoomers? How much is M? Yeah, it's moving by 8. Yeah. Okay, so the common difference is our slope. And B. B is the y-intercept. Yes. Okay, how do we find the y-intercept? It is when x is equal to 0. Right there. So b equals -3. That's right, when x equals 0. Okay, so our equation is, so we're going to change this to 8y equals 8x minus 3. Okay, so this was a little easier because I was given what the y value is when x equals 0, and that is the y-intercept. Okay, number 7, you are going to do on your own. List the first 5 terms. Number 8, list the first 5 terms on your own. Let's talk about number 9. Notice this does not have a common difference. It's going up by 4, up by down by 4, down by 20, down by 100. It has a common ratio. Okay, so what is -125 divided by -25? Yeah, Zoomers? So the common ratio is 5. Okay, so recursive. Does recursive have 1 part or 2 parts? Correct. So we have, what is the first term and how do I get the next term? So the first term is right there, -0.2. And how do I get the next term? So here's my scratch paper. I take the previous term and multiply by 5. Yeah, can we see that? I took the previous term and I multiplied by 5, but that's a coefficient. We don't really write that at the end. So I'm going to say 5 times the previous term. Now, remember, when you come in to take the test, prepare before you get here, ideally. Make a 1-page, 8.5 by 11 piece of paper for notes. Write examples, steps, whatever you need, formulas for doing your test. Okay, so the first thing you do when you come in, I'm going to say, did you make your notes? And if you said no, I'm going to say, why don't you sit down and go ahead and make your notes? It just makes your time here longer. Okay, and the notes are going to stay with me. If you want to take those home, I'm going to need you to go to the copier and make a photocopy so you can take those home. I'm not muting that microphone. Okay. Slope intercept form of the equation. Now, this is not the quickest way. This is the long way. Let's see what it looks like in a table. So we can see from -4 to 4, it goes up 8. And from -5 to -1, it goes up how much? Let's see, here's a 0, -1, -2, -3, -4, -5. 1, 2, 3, 4. it goes up 4. Or you could take -5 minus -1, keep change. Oops, sorry. We're going to go the end, -1 minus -5, keep change, which is +4. And we can see that I'm going from a big negative to a little negative. I'm going up. Yeah, can we see that that is going up? So you have to take -1 minus -4. Colton, are you in? I see you're having technical difficulties today. Okay, so the X's go up by 8, the Y's go up by 4. So look at this. Can we see that this would be -4, -3, -2, -1? Now, you might be thinking right now, okay, awesome. Glad you're here. You might be thinking, okay, this is just more complicated. I don't like this method. Okay, some people, it's going to help to see a table. Okay, and once I get the table, can you tell me what the slope is from the table? The slope is change in Y over change in X. Awesome. Yeah, Zoomers? Is it 4/8, which reduces to 1/2? There you go. Can we see the y-intercept? Yeah, the y, there we go. The y-intercept is the point, is the y value when x equals 0. So y equals 1/2 x minus 3. Now, why did I use this crazy method and not the standard method? This table, it's not going to work for everything. But on the first exam, people tend to have a hard time with this problem. So I wanted to look at it 2 different directions, 2 different methods, and see if we get the same answer. Let's look at the standard method. Let's start with, so I need y equals mx plus b. I need the slope. Y2 minus y1, x2 minus x1. So we have -1 minus -5 and 4 minus -4. Okay, let's practice with the calculator. Okay, notice this is subtract. You know where the subtract button is. This is negative. And the negative, I believe, is below the 3. Yeah. Okay. So let's try this. -1. So -1 minus -5. And you should get 4. Yeah. Four minus -4. You should get 8. Now we're going to practice using the calculator to reduce your fraction. So now type in 4, ABC 8, hit enter, and you should see 1/2. So I would like you to be able to use the negative button on the calculator and I would like you to be able to use the calculator to reduce fractions. Even if you're thinking, okay, 4/8, that's obviously 1/2. Okay. I'd like you to be able to use the calculator to do that. Okay. I'm going to erase this. So M is 1/2. Y equals mx plus b. Let's plug in. I'm going to pick that point. Y is -1, 1/2 multiplied by +4 Now, what if you're not very good at fractions? Let's practice with the calculator. 1 ABC2 multiply by, or you might want to put parentheses. I don't know if you need parentheses. Multiply by 4. 1 ABC2, don't know if we need parentheses or not. Multiply by 4, and what do you get? 2. Okay? Excuse me. When you come in to take your test, if you want to see how to work these buttons, we can have a little chat before you start. So this right here is equal to 2. -1 is equal to 2 plus b. Isolate your variable, subtract 2. B is equal to -3, which agreed when we did this in the table. So we looked at this problem 2 different ways. Okay, this method will always work. There's also the point slope method. So that is a third way. So y equals mx plus -3, or you could also say 1/2 x minus 3. One of these, either one, not both. If you forget to put the x, which I'm seeing on some of your practice exams, that's wrong. Don't forget to put the x. Okay, so that said, leave your answer in slope intercept form. Number 11, standard form. At the end, we're going to need to put it in y equals mx plus b. So let's take a look at a table. Okay. So from here to here, how much? Notice it's going down. It's going down by how much? From -1 to -4. So it's going down 3. From -4 to +1. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Up 5. Okay, if you hate the table, let's just use the formula. M equals y2 minus y1 x2 minus x1. Okay, calculator, please. -3 over +5. So M equals -3/5. Okay, what's the next step? Okay, so we have y equals mx plus b. M is a fraction. Not super happy about that. Let's grab this point. I'm going to say y is -4. M is -3/5. X is 1 plus b. Y is -4. X is 1. So on the test, there's one problem where you need to put it into standard form. It is multiple choice. So the answer is one of those 5 answers. Okay. But your work has to match the answer. So if you go through this and it doesn't work out, you're going to know if it's wrong. Okay. Okay. So -4 is equal to -3/5 plus b. Now, you could use a calculator. I'm going to go through and I'm going to do fraction busters and I'm going to multiply everything by 5. So those cancel. So we have -20 is equal to -3 plus 5b. What's the next step? Add the 3. -17. Poor Colton. -17 is equal to 5b. Divide by 5. B is equal to -17/5. So can you see that this problem can be not a bad problem or kind of a horrible problem when these fractions are involved? But you do need to see a messy problem. Okay. Y equals mx plus b. I leave x and y and I put in m. And I put in b. Okay, now we need to go to standard form. So step 1, eliminate the fractions. multiply everything by 5. Those cancel. 5y is equal to negative 3x. Those cancel, minus 17. With the calculator, you could also go 3 ABC 5 times 5, and you'll get 3. Okay. Last step. It needs to be in this order. AX plus BY equals C. So what do I need to do? So plus 3x. Done. Worst problem on the packet. It gets better from here. Okay, number 12. I have a coefficient. I have A with an exponent, B with an exponent. So what is the coefficient in the front? Correct. Yeah, Zoomers, are you still with me after that painful problem we just did? Zoomers, what is awesome? What is the coefficient in the front? Ding, ding, ding. 6. Yeah. Okay, let's look at the A's. So I multiplied the coefficient. What is the exponent on the A? Yeah. Adding. Okay, it turned out to both be 6. But anyway, multiply the coefficient, add the exponent. Look at the B's. And this one doesn't have an exponent, invisible 1. What is the coefficient on the B's? All right. Okay, not too bad, huh? Remember, all problems are worth the same number of points. If this was the test, number 11 would have been worth the same number of points as number 12. Okay, so don't panic. Parentheses, all of these things have an exponent 4. Okay, what is 3 to the 4th? Thank you. Now, everybody look at this. Base to the power. Yeah, that base has superpowers. So what do I do with the 3 and the 4? Multiply x to the 12th. Notice in number 12, I added those. Base to the power, base to the power. Okay. And what am I going to do with the 4 and the 2? Multiply. Number 14. Okay. Cross the line, change the sign. Now, I could move. So what needs to move? but is it just the -2 or is it the A's? It's the A's, right? Because the A has an exponent -2. Now, I could move both or I could move the worst. Okay, what do you feel more comfortable with? Moving both or moving the worst? The worst? Should we do it that way? Okay, okay, we're getting lots of votes for the worst. So I'm gonna move the worst one. Okay, cross the line, change the sign. Yeah, see what's gonna happen? So let's rewrite it. 3a squared a to the -1 over 4b squared. Okay, so I moved the worst one. Everyone with me? Zoomers, you with me? Okay, now what am I gonna do next? What am I gonna do with those exponents? Add, right? 2 plus -1. Yeah, 2 plus -1 is 1 over 4b squared. And sometimes that 1, it becomes invisible. Now, these exponent problems are going to be on every exam, getting a little bit more difficult each time. So we really got to nail these down now. Number 15, graph. You know what? You're going to do that one on your own. Okay. Number 16. Okay. I'm going to change it from standard form to slope intercept form. So what am I going to do first? Oh, careful. Subtract 2x. Notice these are not like terms. You can't combine the x's with a constant number. Okay, Zoomers, what's my next step? Divide, thank you. Isolate the y, divide by 5. So I'm going to begin with B, and then I'm going to move. So what is B? -2. And M, awesome Zoomers, M is -2/5. Now, B is where you begin. It is the heart of the graph. It's not on the hands. It is the heart. So B is -2 on the spine. It is the heart of the graph. Now, the slope could be -2 over 5 or 2 over -5. So I'm going to go rise overrun. Starting here, down to over 5. Or up to back 5. And there's my line. Okay. Work problems. These are not going to show up on this week's test. We're not ready for these, but they will show up on future tests. So take a look at this. Danielle takes 15 hours to clean the attic. Scott takes 14 because he's fast. T is the number of hours. Now, there's 2 ways to do this. There's my way, and then there is the way that's in the videos. Okay, so we're going to do these my way. In 1 hour, Danielle has completed 1/15 of the attic. Does everyone agree with that? Takes 15 hours to do it. That means each hour she has completed 1/15 of the attic. In 2 hours, she has completed 2/15 of the attic. Everyone agree? Are you with me? All right. In T hours, Danielle has completed anyone have a guess? Ooh. Hey, wait, what? Oh no, go away. That needs to go away. I might be in trouble. We're just gonna hope that little message goes away. Okay, in 3 hours, what is that fraction gonna be? 3/15. In T hours, Danielle has completed T/15. Yeah, makes sense? Okay, how about Scott? In 1 hour, 1/14. In 2 hours, 2/14. Okay, Zoomers, 3 hours. How much has Scott finished? Thank you. Any more? 3/14. Okay. In T hours, T/14. Now, this is where my method is different from the method in the videos. So we're going to do Danielle's fraction plus Scott's fraction equals 1 job. Okay. T/15 plus T/14 equals 1 job. Fraction busters. Okay, the least common denominator. I don't really know. But I can tell you the guaranteed common denominator is 15 times 14. In this problem, you don't have to worry about the least. You are just going to go with the guaranteed common denominator, which is, I don't know, 210. Which makes sense because 15 times 14, if you take the 14 and move a 2 over here, it becomes 30 times 7. Okay, that's the way my brain works. You don't need to know how my brain works. Okay, so fraction busters, multiply everything by 210. Notice 210 cancels with 15 and leaves how much? Yeah, 14. 210 cancels with 14 and leaves 15. So I have 14t plus 15t equals 210. Okay, we are in the home stretch. We could see the finish line for this problem. Combine like terms. Zoomers, what's the last step? Divide. T is equal to 7.24 hours, which makes sense. Because you knew it would be about half, so it would be about 7, but without writing the equation, you're not going to know the 0.24. Okay, number 18. I forgot. We're not going to talk about this yet. Last year I said just cross it off. That's what the video, last year's video is going to say. We're going to skip that one. Do not do. Okay, last one we're going to do. And then everything else is on your own. Now, this week's notes. There is a problem. Yeah, it looks like this. Super important that you do this week's notes. I realize if you don't do them, I excuse them. But that's going to be really helpful for doing this. Now, this part right here is called the domain. The domain is the restricted X values. So let's look at an X-axis. Some of you do not even remember if this is less than or greater than. What is that yellow one? Less than or equal to, right? Okay, yeah, less than or equal to. So that is this right here. Solid pointing to the left. Notice this is pointing to the left. This is pointing to the left. Nice how that works out, huh? Okay, you with me? Okay, so let's make this one red. And we're going to put it above. So what is that thing? This is saying X is in between -4 and 2. Now, is it equal to -4 and equal to 2? No, I'm going to put it above the yellow. So it looks like this, in between -4 and 2. Okay, let's make this one green. What is this saying? X is greater than, I'm going to put that back on the line. X is greater than or equal to, right? Okay, so notice our number line has been split into a yellow part, a red part, and a green part. Okay, let's talk about the yellow part. In yellow, I'm going to draw this line. Can we see that this graph is going to go in that yellow box? Okay, so I need to make a graph. G of X is equal to -6. Now, I don't like function notation, so I'm going to change it to Y is equal to -6. And this is why I was going to do the problem above, but we're just going to do it here because otherwise it takes too much time. Now, algebra 1. Notice there is no X. There is just a Y. Now I'm going to draw it. Do this with pencil, not pen. There is a Y-intercept of -6. Y equals is horizontal. X equals would be vertical. Remember from algebra 1? Y equals is horizontal, X equals is vertical. We're not doing an X equals, we're doing a Y equals. Okay, horizontal line. The root, oh, do you guys see my mistake? Sorry, -6. I'm so sorry. -6. You're like, yeah, thank you. Good catch. Okay, now that is the line Y equals -6. But I only want the part, this is why we're doing this in pencil. I only want the part in the yellow box. Now, is this going to be on this week's test? No. But next week, you will be glad that we talked about it this week. Okay, red. Yeah, G of X equals -3. Change it to Y equals -3. Here's the line. Horizontal through -3. But let's look at the domain. From -4 from -4 to +2. So only right there. The horizontal line with the restricted domain from -4 to +2. Okay, now it's the line. Now it's the line G of X is equal to 2x minus 4. or y is equal to 2x minus 4. So we're going to go -4 up 2 over 1. But now let's look at the domain. The domain is right here, right? Only this part. So I'm going to erase. Now notice there's no overlap. Clean this up. See this right here? There's an equal sign at -4. So close circle. Open circle, open circle. Closed circle. Okay, I needed you to see this. And next week, when we really start working on this, I want it to be a little bit better because we did this together. You do not have to do this on your own this week for this exam. Okay, it's going to be on an exam in 4 weeks. So we need you, this is called piecewise function. This and the work problems are the new material for this week. Okay, work problem and piecewise function, not on this week's exam, but we need to start looking towards that. If you feel like your brain is full because of all the stuff you have to do for this exam, don't worry about piecewise and don't worry about work. Okay, does anyone have a request from a problem that I skipped? Or you can look at last year's video. They're on that last year's video. 15. Okay, thank you for coming. Bye-bye. 15. What is M? -1/3 or 1 over -3. And what is B? -2. Do I begin with M or begin with B? Yeah, Zoomers? Begin with B on the spine, not the hands. So now I'm going to move down 1 over 3 or up 1, back 3. There we go. Any other requests? Number 2. Okay, so this is tricky. Let's come up with the multiplier. Increase the multiplier is 100% plus 2.5%. which is 102.5%. Now, I see mistakes on this. Okay. So change it to a decimal. 121.025 is my multiplier. So sequence 47000 multiply by 1.025. And you should get 48175. Multiply again by 1.025. And you should get 49379.38. And then I'm going to let you do the last two. I didn't do them and I don't have a calculator. I actually don't know what they are. Any other requests? Number 8. Okay, given the explicit formula, find the first 5 terms. Oh, and it looks like number 5 is also a request. Okay, so how do we find the first term? I'm stuck. My mind is blank. I don't know where to start. Okay, so just replace the n with 1. So negative 15 plus 10 times 1 is negative 15 plus 10 is negative 5. Okay, a sub 2. Negative 15 plus 10 times 2 is negative 15 plus 20 is positive 5. Starting to see a pattern. A sub 3, negative 15 plus 10 times 3 is negative 15 plus 30 is is 15. Can we see that D equals 10? And we knew that because the common difference is just like the slope for a linear equation. But Notice A1 is not negative 15. You have to actually back up 1. Okay, so common difference is 10, 25, 35. So it's good to do the first several, especially because it switched from negative to positive. I had to do 3. Sometimes after you do 2, you get the idea, and then you can just apply the common difference. Okay, we have a request for 5. Slope intercept form. Okay, where does this begin? How much? 32? The startup fee is where it begins. And how much does that increase? It moves up $15 every month. So it begins at 32 and then plus 15, plus 15. So this equation is giving us the total, it doesn't say that here, the total amount of information you have spent on this gym. So y equals 15x plus 32. This is how I know. Do you understand where does it begin number, and what is a constant number that only happens once, and what is a variable number that happens again and again? Okay, you're ready for me to stop talking about 5. Number 7. Recursive. The notation is confusing. The math is easy. Okay, so this means first term. This means next term. And this means previous term. So the first term is, what is the first term? 30. And how do I get the next term? Plus 10. 40. How do I get the next term? Plus 10 by adding 10 to the previous term. So the notation is difficult. The math is easy. Any more? Number 4. Okay, we're going to demonstrate. Oh, question back on number 7. When we're doing this problem in a quiz, do we just add the next term? You would just, so it depends. I'm not sure I understand your question. Okay, let's go back to 7. You just add that number to the previous term, because this asks find the 5 terms. Writing the equation is a little more difficult. Yeah, does that answer your question? Just add 10 to the previous term. Okay. Okay, what did we say? Number 4, demonstrate the diamond box method to factor. So I need 2 numbers that multiply to get negative 12 and add to get 4. So I look at the chart of factors. 2 numbers that multiply. By the way, you will have, when you come to take the test, you will have the chart of factors. Two numbers that multiply to get -12 and add to get +4. Do we see them? So I want this to be positive, right? 6 and -2. This is week 5. Okay, +6 and -2. So I'm demonstrating the box method. So I take this and put it into the box. N squared -12 goes here. I'm done with these. 4n splits into 6n and -2n. Now, if you're taking the test in person, do you have to demonstrate all of this? No. If you're taking the test at home and you're making a video, you may have to demonstrate all of this. Now, if you're doing it in person, you're just saying, but wait, the answers are n-6 and n+6 and n-2. So let's demonstrate this. N times n is n squared. N times 6 is 6n. N times -2 is -10n, -2n. -2 times 6 is -12. So you will notice this factors into n plus 6 n minus 2. So we didn't technically need the box because, and we'll talk about why later. There will be problems in the future where we will need the box. Okay, are we good? Okay, let me know when you will be coming in to take your exam, or if you're taking the exam online, then I need to add you to that course. Okay, thank you for coming, and see you next time. You're welcome. Bye-bye.